Good afternoon from the historic city of Berlin. We're here for quarter-finals day at Snooker's German Masters. The feature match in this programme is Kyren Wilson, the world champion, and indeed former German Masters champion. 2019 was his year, against Anthony McGill. We're at the Tempodrom. The other match in this session is Hendon against Aaron Hill. He's looking to reach Hill his first semi-final. Tonight, Neal Robertson takes on Yuan Sejun and Barry Hawkins plays Wu Yize. So to confirm the order of play, this afternoon it's Kyren Wilson against Anthony McGill and Hendon against Aaron Hill. And you can watch that match on Discovery Plus and Max. And then tonight, the main match is Neal Robertson against Yuan Sejun and Barry Hawkins against Wu Yize, again on Discovery Plus and Max. Welcome to quarter-finals day here at Snooker's German Masters. The players walking on into the Tempodrom. And first up, it's Aaron Hill and Hendon. Aaron Hill looking to reach his first ranking event semi-final today. Of course, Hendon won the Wuhan Open earlier this season, runner-up in the Champion of Champions. They're on table 2. Table 1 is Kyren Wilson against Anthony McGill.
Die Kontrahenten in unserem Hauptmatch. Bitte begrüßen Sie Anthony McGill und Kyren Wilson.
Kyren Wilson and Anthony McGill centre stage this afternoon here at the Tempodrom in Berlin. The quarter-finals of the German Masters. The other match is Hendon against Aaron Hill. It's a big afternoon for the Irishman. Aaron Hill looking to reach his first semi-final. Of course, Kyren Wilson, he's world champion. He was German Masters champion back in 2019. Anthony McGill, we've not seen much of this season. It's actually his first quarter-final in a ranking event since the Welsh Open last season. But he's played some really good stuff here, beaten Luca Purcell and Zhang Anda in the last 2 rounds. These two have quite a history, really, dating back to junior days. We all remember the World Championship semi-final in 2020. Indeed, this season they played a pretty memorable match in Belfast that Wilson won 4-3, despite McGill's 2 centuries. Of course, Kyren Wilson has been camped out on this table all week, so he knows exactly how the conditions are. But an interesting one. It's good Neal Foulds is with me. Good to see McGill, back on our screens. We've not seen him for a while, it seems.
Yeah, good afternoon, Dave, and everyone watching. I mean, he's world ranked number 40, Anthony McGill. It seems a little bit too far down, doesn't it, for someone as good as he is. See that shot missed from Kyren Wilson, the world champion. But, I mean, the rankings don't lie, but you just feel he's a better player than someone that... Surely he's a top 32 player, and of course he's been in the 16, so it's maybe time for a return to form is all you can say about it. Best ever ranking 12, nowhere near that these days.
Yeah, he beat Kyren Wilson in the Indian Open final, 2016. That's the last time he beat him. Lost the last 4. They played that extraordinary semi-final at the Crucible, which had ended in the maddest frame ever.
Yeah, I think, I'm sure a lot of people will remember that frame, especially that decider. And if ever anyone tells you that snooker's just about what's on the table and it's not a game played between the ears, watch that frame and you'll realise it could only ever been a decider in such a, the biggest frame of snooker they'd ever played at the time. And it was pretty obvious it was the biggest frame they'd ever played. All kinds of things happened in it.
Yeah, a lot happened. I mean, people remember Wilson fluking the green, but if you scroll back a few minutes, McGill actually had the last red over the right corner pocket. He's snooking himself on the yellow, so obviously a 3-day match. A lot happened before that, what seemed like the key moment. Anyway, that's all in the past.
Yes, and they have played, haven't they, a few times since then, of which Wilson has won them all. It's not dissimilar to the match-up yesterday with Jack Jones, who, of course, he played in the World Final last year. And he seems to frank the form, if you like, by beating him again. And with McGill, he's done so since then on 3 occasions. And as Dave said, you've got to go back a good few years now to McGill's win against Wilson in that final in India. Good match, though, I think. I expect with these two. They go back right to the junior days. I know that Kyren has got pictures of his junior efforts, and of course he and Anthony McGill locked horns regularly as junior players, so they go back.
Went for the cross double. He was watching that cue ball, hoping to get cover from the yellow. But he didn't.
Nicely played. Black away from its spot slightly, but he's perfectly on it.
Yeah, I mean, he slipped down, as you say, to 40 in the world, so he actually had to pre-qualify. He had to win a match just before Christmas in Sheffield, beat Hayden Pinney. And then Pang Zhengzhou 5-4, first round here. That was a very slow start, but it ended in 3 centuries between them. Luca Brissell and then Zhang Anda, so some solid victories.
He had that spell last year, didn't he, where he was using a sort of a black graphite cue and also a black glove on his bridge hand. And he looked a bit more like an assassin than a snooker player during that period. I knew he'd end up going back to a conventional cue. I've always thought he was a very good player, especially in the longer matches.
Nine.
He's always been a very pure ball striker. Even at the start of this match, we're seeing that maybe he's got his cueing together again, because sometimes when you see him hit the ball, he's not someone that uses a lot of fancy side and doesn't hit balls too hard, but he's got a very straight cue action. Playing off the bunch here. I know everyone's meant to have a straight cue action, but not everyone else has got one. To get that cue through in a straight line can be easier to say than do. He's got to try and nudge the red in the bunch here to hold for another one. Very nice. Lovely little shot, that.
24.
Exactly as planned, hitting that red.
Well, he's made 5 centuries in the tournament. He's only made 15 all season, so a third of them have come in this German Masters.
$25.
Well, the side of the table he's now standing at would be a good side for the cue ball here. Yeah, across there, choice of a couple of reds. And as you say, he's not been on the match table, although it didn't necessarily affect Neal Robertson yesterday. Maybe a few shots at the start of the match he wasn't sure about, but he ended up beating Judd Trump. He'd also been camped out on the main table.
Yeah, just 2 tables in operation now, and a bigger crowd in today. And of course, tomorrow we go down to 1 table when the event really does become special. But it's great to see so many in this afternoon.
What is the problem on that shot? But of course, he has the blue as a reserve up the table, because you know that reds could easily get in the path of a high-value colour like the black. It's quite straight, though, isn't it? As you can see, not much angle to play with. He tried to force an angle that didn't really exist, I think.
Anthony McGill, 28.
Yeah, I mean, it looked virtually straight, but he tried to stun it around the angles. I'm not sure he could do it.
A few shouts have come on Kyren. When Rolf Kalb, the MC, before it began last, read out all the names, and Kyren got the biggest cheer. Because he won here in 2019. And I think so many people have really admired the way he's handled the mantle of being world champion this year.
Yeah, I mean, more than once I've thought his form is due to drop off, only because he's so hard to play well all year round. But as soon as I've thought that, he seems to come back and play well again. I thought maybe the Masters might have been quite a blow losing in that final, and he could struggle. But he's still here playing. You know, he's beating players like Zhou Yulong, who in the summer beat him 6-0 in China, and he got one back on him. So there's no real signs of him losing his form.
Yeah, I mean, he's had 3, pretty tough matches, really. Ka Wei Cheong, Zhou Yulong and Jack Jones, all 5-3.
Certainly a good chance to get the frame one here. And McGill was in first, as we saw. Didn't make that many from that opportunity. And that'll do nicely through that gap. Choice of 3 reds now.
26.
Well, he wanted to get the pink away from that red just to make sure that the red pots. He's been a little fortunate to land in behind the blue with the rest.
The applause that rang out there was for Zhao Guidong. He's won the opening frame against Aaron Hill on table 2.
I've said this before, something about playing a shot like this and there's a ball by your gripping hand of the cue. It's very distracting because you're worried you're going to almost punch the ball down the table with your back arm. And it was enough to distract him completely.
Kyren Wilson, 32.
It's always distracting. You're just concerned that you're going to make contact with that ball.
One.
Well, it's been a question of third visit to the table. Could be the one that wins him the frame here. Both players have got him and made a few.
Six.
But he will need all 3 reds. The red up the table could be problematic.
Thirty. $14.
Trying to knock that red out from where it is. Quite straight on the yellow, which is not helping him greatly for position. So the green perhaps to take the cue ball down towards that left-hand red again.
Oh, that sounds nice.
Well, that could have been better. It's not exactly ideal for position.
70.
Beautifully controlled shot, however. The pot and position, I mean, the cue ball can end up on the right cushion on that if you're not careful. So this is the biggest shot of all of them to get from black to red. Well, it's going to be a rest shot, and it's a missable one.
25.
Yeah, this was the red that did for Wilson, actually, wasn't it? Because he was just mindful of it as he was attempting to pot one. Hang on. Wow. Well, it's only frame one, but that already feels big.
Yeah, it was a difficult pot in the first place, wasn't it? And he was trying to do something with the cue ball. Of course, the rest of it is all in the lap of the gods, isn't it? So he'll be 27 in front when this goes in, if it goes in. But he will need, of course, the yellow. So trying to take the cue around the angles. He must ensure that he doesn't overhit this one and miss it. Quite a good shot. You know, you've got to ride your luck at this game and take it when it comes. It was he's gone through the gap between the green and brown, and it looked like it was going to go in from an early stage, actually. Very handy fluke.
Yeah, so should be over the line. Nothing Wilson could have done about that, because he did have a chance himself. As I say, that red was just encumbering him when he was in.
36.
Not his favourite ball on the table, particularly when it ended up in the pocket.
Forty. $45.
So Anthony McGill takes the first frame of this quarter-final here at the German Masters. Very interesting start.
The second frame. Kyren Wilson's frame.
So back at the Tempodrom for frame two. It was a memorable opener. Anthony McGill won it. Best of 9, and the winner plays either Zhao Guodong or Aaron Hill. Zhao has made a 95 break to lead 1-0 there. Feels like a big match, this, for McGill. He's not been in a semi-final in a ranking event. That's the stage he's trying to get to since the 2022 Northern Ireland Open. So basically 2.5 years. Seems a long time for a player so well regarded.
Well, looks like he's going to try and run it round. A couple of cushions for the black here. He tried to do exactly that. Very close as well. I think he believed it was in when he hit it.
1.
And that had to drop. He just decided that he would just leave the red. If he missed it, there was no element of playing it with safety in mind. And using the red this time to ensure he had something to go at if the breaking of the bunch didn't work, and he hasn't really opened the reds up. So he is faced with that red to left corner here. There's 1-2 left middle, but if he plays it, he's got to play it well. He's got to screw off the side of the bunch, I think. Back for the black.
9.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't get anything like the reaction he wanted. He wanted the reds to split, but also, look where he's finished. He's right on top of a red here. He's got quite difficult cueing on this red. Play, I'm sure, quite gently.
17. Yeah, sure.
There's a lot of cue involved here, isn't there?
Yes, I mean, he was never going to miss that rest shot, but yes, missed 1 or 2 this week. And 1 or 2 at important stages towards the end of that Masters, and of course we had him down as someone that barely ever misses with it. Murphy was the player who didn't miss a ball all week using the rest. Just 1 or 2 have gone astray for Kyren Wilson. Well, it kind of looked like it bounced out, but I have a feeling
23.
it was just slightly ill-directed. The reaction of the ball, though, was kind of unusual. I mean, that really did everything but go in, didn't it? He looks a little surprised.
One. Three. Four.
Now, has he got an angle on this to screw into the reds? He has, but it maybe just a little bit further to the right as we look would have made it a better angle. If he's going to play into them, he's going to have to force it. It's not the most natural angle. That's why he's not played it. So how is he going to get these reds opened up? Is it going to be from the black, which seems the only option now?
11.
From blue it would have been better, but I don't think he can get on the blue top side now.
12.
So definitely into them this time. And a lot will revolve around how well he plays this as to who wins this frame. If this goes to plan, he'd be favourite. I think that'll do. The bottom red goes. Not the cleanest pot. Black could have stayed out.
90.
That was very neatly played. The red's now perfectly placed in the middle of the table. Obvious signs here that whatever happens today to McGill, he's clearly playing better than he has been. The results have not been coming, but just a few wins give you different kind of belief, I suppose, and he's got the ability, he's always had that.
Yeah, I mean, he's beaten both Mark Selby and Ronnie O'Sullivan at the Crucible, you know, which takes some doing, as we know, to beat either one of them, never mind both.
Yeah, that was at the 3-session stage, wasn't it? In a proper snooker match where the best player over those sessions will always win.
Well, it's his 26th ranking quarter-final, but he's only been in 7 semi-finals, so, you know, he hasn't quite, at this stage, always pushed on. But good signs today, for sure.
Yeah, 44.
Just felt it was a slightly bad contact. Rob Spencer giving the white a clean, but he's okay here.
Yeah, just running it through, isn't he, for a choice of only those 3 reds, a big area to land in. I suppose if you get a kick on that, it's a worry, although, to be honest, it's a really poor shot, isn't it?
49.
And he had plenty of room on that left side, and how was he overrun? Bad misjudgment, that.
Yeah, just as the frame really was at his mercy.
Well, of course, it makes the next shot more difficult because he knows really he should be on a choice of reds comfortably to this pocket. Looks like he's retrieved things there. Yeah, I mean, if he's straight in behind this blue, he would have no hesitation but to play it, but you could have to play off the cushion onto a red. There's no way around it. Goodness me, he was very tentative there.
50.
Very tentative indeed. I thought he would play to the left side of the table. He didn't like the shot, and it was obvious from the way he played it. Yes, he had no choice but to play the containing shot, maybe getting the red safe. He'd be annoyed at the previous visit how it ended, because he didn't look like he would break down there. Gradually got out of position. Frame is still live now as a consequence. Terrific pot, with a little bit of putting the cue ball safe in mind. I mean, of course, he could roll this pink to middle, which he would need to get. He could drop him behind the brown as well, but he's got his sights on the pink, the last we saw. Big shot this, he has to drop. It had to drop. What a chance. McGill can redeem himself here. I think there was a lot resting on it, and both players knew it.
One.
So, 32 to the good, red and the colour. It's been an eventful start, this. Wilson has missed a couple, hasn't he? He missed a red to this middle, and then the pink to the opposite.
7.
So the mistakes that McGill has made have gone unpunished. Of course, he did have the fluke in the first. That did help. But there's no doubt he's playing much better in this tournament than we've seen from him really all season. So not quite there yet. 39, 13. The lead with 35 on.
Yeah, so he's going to have to carry on, isn't he, and attempt to get this snooker. We've seen in frames like this one before from very unpromising positions.
Well, the match against Joey Long, the Kyren Wilson one, did turn in the third frame when he won the frame, having needed snookers, so can happen. McGill, you know, is quite a wily character, isn't he? So they're gonna have to, it's going to have to be a good one, I think.
Yes, I mean, often we think that with the red left, players are not going to pot the last red, but it is one snooker, and if you can get on the black from the red, then you might as well try and get them on the colours. I mean, there's an area behind the brown ball where if you could land the cue ball there, then it's going to be a pretty horrible snooker to be put in. So I think that he might have an idea about trying to get there. Not sure he can do it quite on this shot, though.
8.
he tried it. That was the idea, was to just get the cube on the other side of the brown, and then good luck trying to hit that one. It is a snooker anyway, but not quite as planned. Well, I mean, the problem is the left-hand escape route, the middle pocket appears to be very close to in the way. So I think you'd have to go before the middle and play it with left-hand side and try and make contact. It's a fairly big target. You can hit it directly or off the second cushion. You would anticipate McGill will hit this. Well, he's looking at the swerve now. That looks pretty horrible. Surely he's playing one cushion with side. Somewhere about there with the contact to the cushion. Having a long look at it, but yeah, I would fancy him to hit this. It's just a question of getting a little bit of side on the cue ball and setting it down there. And as I say, the target is not small. Can either hit it off one or two cushions. Oh, he's going the other way, playing it into the cushion at pace. This is more difficult. Done well. Got himself out of a slight mess. Funny, isn't it? I was just thinking there, behind the line of his shot, you could see Zhao Guodong was moving a lot because he's on the other table. There's nothing that can be done. But for some reason, that doesn't put the player off on the table when there's something that you know can't be changed. If a spectator had walked past there, he'd have probably got up and given him a glare. But sometimes not put off by players on other tables.
Yeah, there was one year here, wasn't there, a few years ago, where there was a separate room where one table was housed. That was a strange old do.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that the very early events here, there was about 8 or 10 tables, and there was one in that area that we used as a studio, I think, as you say, so. Well, that has made things difficult now. I mean, for Kyren Wilson to get a snooker, it seems. Now that bramble has been moved across, you know, there is a target to aim behind for a snooker. So McGill not over the line. Yeah, Kyren Wilson trying to get into that spot where he's blocked off direct cover, direct contact. He's got there. Got to be a bit careful this time with the ball so close to the middle of the table. You know, you can easily miss a snooker from someone like here. It's just one cushion, but it's not a certainty, this. Well done. He's going to be in another one here, I think, somehow.
Crowd are enjoying this game of cat and mouse, I think.
Yeah, I think this, of the snookers that he's got so far, Kyren Wilson, this most difficult. He's got to really put side on to get the one cushion escape. He expects to be in one again here, I think. Again, the brown and pink ball are giving a real shield to Kyren Wilson. He's not given up this frame at all.
Well, not a snooker this time. So he's just slightly lost the little control he had of the exchange. Yeah, now he's in one himself.
Yeah, a chance to get some more points on the board, and this, of course, would change the equation to 2 snookers to tie on the green, which would really strengthen McGill's case to get another frame one. Not guaranteed that Wilson will concede. I mean, he might do, but it still could be worth trying for.
I think he will come back with the balls where they are. You know, there are opportunities for snookers. Might be one himself, though.
Anthony McGill to 6. frame conceded. Second frame.
Well, Kyren Wilson, seeing where the cue will finish there behind the black, has seen enough. So a bit of a battle, but it is Anthony McGill on top here at the Tempodrom, leading the quarter-final 2-0.
It's very popular, isn't it, snooker in Germany? And, you know, it's they find it very engrossing, the German public. And, of course, we'll see big crowds at the weekend.
Third frame. Anthony McGill to break.
Yes, of course, one table tomorrow. I mean, it's already a great atmosphere, but it really is at the weekend, as everyone knows, very special. Neil Robertson was talking about that last night as an incentive for getting through tonight. He's up against Yuan Sijun. Barry Hawkins plays Wu Yiza in the other quarter-final this evening.
If you remember, Dave, when it was a 5-day event, as it had been for a number of years, there was the 4 quarter-finals all played simultaneously. It was a big night of snooker. Great shot. Because now this is a big night for the table fitters, isn't it? To take all those tables out and overnight, and that's a lot of hard work. Anyway, good pot that, needed it.
Yeah, he gave that a good go in the last frame, but there were a couple of misses from him, weren't there, earlier on in the frame, a red and a pink. Now he's on the front foot.
Could have come out a lot better, couldn't it? I don't think he's got a shot now.
6.
It's a nice red as well, but a couple of shots later, I don't think there is a colour available to him, red available to him here.
Kyren Wilson 6.
You see the Tempodrom in all its glory, all those tables, as I say, not necessarily been in use all week, all of them at the same time. There was a session early when they were, early in the competition. So he must be encouraged by this start, McGill, getting these first 2 frames, which could have gone either way, actually. And Wilson had a chance in both. It's a fabulous pot. I mean, it really is. And he's on the black, so that is absolutely top class, that shot. I feel he was forced into playing it. Beautifully cued. Extremely difficult shot. He deserves to be on the black.
Eight.
Well, this is another golden chance early in a frame, and you know, if you get the first 3 frames, then really, you know, it's a pretty substantial advantage in the best of 9.
$60. 17. $24. $25.
Well, a dramatic frame next door has been won by Jagu Dong. So 2-0 over Aaron Hill.
30. $31.
Keep the noise down, please, the referee on the other table says. But I think McGill is one of those players, he's very good at just focusing on what he's doing. And right now, he must be feeling really good. The way he started, the way he's playing, the lead he's building.
Yeah, I mean, he does appear to have good concentration, doesn't he? That never feels like it's a problem of his. You know, I think he's somebody that has been known to lose his confidence. I mean, that's not unusual to any snooker player, of course. But I know one thing, his best is, you know, very good over long matches. Goodness me.
Anthony McGill. 38.
And has come out of nowhere, isn't it? And it's pretty straightforward, the shot, isn't it? Just running through. I know anything can be missed, and balls into the middle invariably are missed. But he'd be most annoyed to have done so.
Well, it could have been a very significant miss, but it's like it never happened now because he returns to the table immediately.
Yeah, it's almost with a better chance, isn't it? Because the Reds have opened up. So I think Kyren Wilson, as I say, kept thinking he could lose his form, and all week there's been moments when he hasn't been at his best, but he seems to have always found a way of winning. I'm not sure it's going to be quite as easy at 3-0 down if it goes that way here.
No, I mean, he struggled so far, there's no doubt about that. And as I say, whatever mistakes McGill has made have gone unpunished.
6.
Just doing something with the cue ball there, the pot, and getting the cue ball out of that area was the problem.
7.
He was a very talented junior, certainly. McGill, he won the national title in Scotland at all the different age divisions.
50.
Under 14s, under 16s, under 18s, under 21s. And in fact, he played at the Crucible, didn't he, when he was 15 in junior pot black against Stuart Carrington. They played the final in the arena, so that was a great taste of the big time at a young age. And this is the big time now, isn't it? The Tempodrom, one of the great arenas on the World Snooker Tour.
22.
Goodness me, what a ball to miss. What a ball to miss. The frame at his mercy. Again, I think his mind was a bit on the cue ball, but he's coming up the table naturally. He kind of only half hit that, as if he maybe decelerated on it or something. And it's opened the door to a possible comeback, and it would be... I know we've seen a couple of balls missed that have gone unpunished, but wow, this would hurt if McGill somehow found a way of losing in this frame. There's not that much difficult about this, apart from the fact that the player is 2-0 down and a long way behind in the next. That's the difficult bit. The balls aren't really very badly placed.
Well, it looked 3-0 all day long, but McGill, that miss may be significant now. The balls he's missed so far haven't been because Wilson hasn't taken advantage. But I go back to that Zhou Long match. I mean, he was struggling. This was the red McGill missed. But in that match, Wilson was struggling early on. The running was going against him. But when the chance came for the snooker, he was absolutely ready, not only to get it, but then clear up and win the frame. And, of course, went on to win the match.
9.
Yes, I mean, he missed a blue in an earlier frame, cutting it into the left middle, which he played equally as tentatively. And generally his game is good. There's the odd shot which is going wrong. It's like anything else, you know. I mean, if Kyren Wilson does not end up taking the frame, it will be just lost, really, in his mind.
60.
It won't be lost in his mind if Wilson clears. McGill won't be able to forget it.
$17.
No, that's not quite how he played it.
24.
Bottom red goes. Not nice, even with the rest, which he's so good with. The pot and just getting the cue ball away from hitting the black is something you've got to think about here. That was the cue ball didn't really move very much, despite him hitting it at great pace. So this is not nice, this shot. It's really well played. I have to think he could have played it more confidently.
25.
It's one of those shots where you're almost better off just making sure of the blue and ending up with virtually the same shot as you've got now.
$13.
Starting to look like he might clear these now, isn't it, after that last shot? Pink back on its own spot here, and wow, real turning point this frame could be.
$37. $38.
He really is tough as old boots, isn't he, Kyren Wilson? But I'm sure he wasn't expecting McGill to falter here. That's a shot we might be looking at again later in the afternoon if this match does turn around.
43.
Because had he made it 3-0, you know, Wilson was struggling. But a lifeline's been thrown his way, and you've got to fancy him now to take these out.
46. $50.
A test then for McGill to try and put that to one side there.
55.
Pink and black, and it's 2-1 when it looked for all the world like 3-0. This has been excellent, though, really has, from Kyren Wilson. Yeah, superb clearance that. He'd struggled in the match, but he was ready to take them out there. A dramatic frame goes to the world champ, who trails 2-1. So, a very interesting match here between Kyren Wilson and Anthony McGill, and it's just swung, even though he's still trailing, it's just swung in Wilson's favour psychologically, at least. The way he took out the third frame when McGill missed that red. So, 2-1, this is the last before the interval. I think what was noticeable, though, again, you know, things had gone against him, he'd been missing, but when the chance came, he was absolutely ready to take it. He wasn't sort of looking around, concentration, wondering, or berating himself for what had already happened. He was just sat waiting in case the chance came. It did, and he took it really well.
Played one earlier like that, which I think just about hit the same part of that pocket again. Stayed out. This is not the only snooker going on at the moment. The World Snooker Federation Championship is coming to the Boyle in Morocco. That's for a tour card for the main tour. They're down to the semi-finals there. As McGill attempts the long red, yeah, we've got Fergal Quinn playing Gao Yang of China. Matthias Baranovsky of Poland against Brian Chinney. So this is he's from Malta. It's quite a
international field, and whoever comes through will get a 2-year card for next season. They may even be here at the Tempodrom.
Well, he was confident, wasn't he? But it didn't. Sounds like I'm speaking afterwards, but it didn't think he looked quite on. It was a 4-ball plant. The Reds were not all lined up directly to the pocket, so. And he thought he would be safe had he missed it, but it isn't quite that either. Big frame to win, but immediately you could be hit with the one going against him here if this red goes in. Fairly acute angle to middle.
One.
McGill's got to get over the disappointment of that last frame and how he missed a ball to this left corner. That pocket's not really been his friend today. Now he's got this black, which is not the same shot, but it's kind of same principle. Playing it about half speed. Played it nicely, in fact.
Eight. No. $60. $70. $24.
Well, he couldn't have held it any better or any slower, quite honestly, because he was right about the cue ball drifting up the table, but it just about reached. And he couldn't really have played on it any other colour than the black. That's why he played it that way. That's a beautiful little shot. Beautiful shot, that is. Really opened up a couple of reds nicely. It's a wonderful chance to score very heavily here. Almost spoilt for choice between those two reds to either corner. They're both pretty simple. It's a question of which one offers him better positioning of the balls further down the line. He can play down the right side here because you saw that both of those reds over on the right go to the left corner. They're lined up. There you can see they both pop to the same pocket as the black, those two reds. So plenty of options here. Of course, there's the other end. I mean, he's never made a 147, has he, as a professional? But at the moment he wants to win the frame. But honestly, this is such a wonderful chance for us. Huge break.
41.
I'm sure that's not at the forefront of his mind, but surely it is in there somewhere.
Highest break for McGill as a pro, 144. Highest break here this week, C. Jarwee's 145. Of course, Wu Yiza was looking good, wasn't he, yesterday, but just went wrong towards the end, lost position.
Well, he's got a kiss which you wouldn't have thought was any good. But if he wants to play the left-hand red, it will take him on the black. If he wants to play the other red and play on the blue, then you could totally understand it. Never got any problem with that. It's, you know, you've got a frame to win, and it feels like he probably will win it here now.
Well, I think after what happened in the last frame, he just has to focus on winning this one, doesn't he? Maybe if it had been 3-0, he would have tried to stay on the black, but can't risk another clearance from Wilson.
54. 55. 62. 63.
Well, C. Jarwee's break is safer now, but the main thing for McGill is to pop the next couple of balls. And this has been a good response. Obviously, it was a tough frame to lose that last one, but he's just got on with this one. This red, and it's looking like 3-1 to him at the mid-session. Remember, he's not been in a semi-final in a ranking event since the Northern Ireland Open, the back end of 2022. So it's been a barren spell for McGill. That's the stage he's looking to reach here today. Wilson made a good clearance in the last frame, but he's going to be trailing at the interval, it would seem.
$76. 77.
Of course, he looks very fluent now and very confident now that the frame has won.
84.
He's taken them well. I mean, it was a good chance, but he's taken them well.
85.
And now he's playing quickly. Because he won the shootout, the first ever ranking version of the shootout, didn't he? Where he was forced to play very quickly. I think in the main he's quite a fluent player. But he's enjoying this now that this frame is over, and it kind of hasn't quite put to bed the last frame, because he knows he could have won that one as well, but
93.
he's kind of softened the blow of losing it a little bit.
So the red for his 6th century of the German Masters this year.
100.
Yeah, terrific break. You know, it was a body blow what happened in the 3rd frame, but it's like it never happened. Anthony McGill reminding everybody what a terrific player he is. He's been a little in the doldrums, falling down to 40 in the world. But we know it can all turn around in 1 week.
107.
Even that shot was beautifully played.
114.
Black to yellow, confidently played.
116.
I suppose Kyren Wilson will say, okay, well, at least I did steal that frame, which has, kept it to manageable if he plays well in the second half of the match. Because at 4-0, you don't really think you're going to win in the best of 9 when you're that far behind, but he's stopped that from being the case. You could have no complaints about the scoreline. Yes, there was a fluke in frame 1 that McGill got, which was significant on a red that went in the middle. But I don't think he could say that he's been hard done by otherwise.
$128. $134.
I think he tried to play that shot where he hits the bump of the middle pocket and comes back towards the black.
So 134 from Anthony McGill. Kyren Wilson made the great clearance in frame 3, but McGill stayed confident, stayed positive, and with his 6th century of this year's German Masters, he leads 3-1 at the interval. So we're just waiting for the players to return. In fact, here they come. Kyren Wilson up against it at the interval, 3-1 down to Anthony McGill. Remember, Wilson in frame 3 made a very nice clearance of 68, but McGill then made that 1-3-4. Just didn't get on the black at the end for the 1-4-1, but nonetheless, he just put out of his mind what had happened in frame 3. He's 3-1 up. It's first to 5. There's still time for this to turn around, but McGill seems to be playing good stuff this week as he looks to reach his first ranking semi-final since October 2022.
I mean, these two seem to get on pretty well, don't they? I suppose it's safe to say McGill owes him one after that match we always speak about in 2020 at the World Championships, that semi-final. He has lost to him since as well, and it's been a long time since he last beat him, but I remember at the end of that match there was a good, generous few words between them and a handshake, I think, when no one else was shaking hands. So these two kind of go back a long way. They have a lot of respect for each other. But it's safe to say that he does owe him one, McGill. That break of 134, he actually didn't pot the final black in that. Tried to pot it, missed it. His numbers are all good today. He's missed a couple of balls. The score could easily be 4-0. I mean, the frame that Kyren won, he probably shouldn't have.
Meanwhile, it's definitely going to be 4-0 to Zhao Guodong on table 2. So he's on a 73 break there. So Aaron Hill in big trouble at the interval. Plenty of people keeping their eye on that one.
Well, this has got to go, hasn't it?
Foul and a miss.
This didn't ever look like hitting. It's a funny red to try and hit off 2 cushions. I mean, obviously, if he hits it too firmly, then he's going to maybe leave the red or make it an easy pot on the red up the table even. And of course, he'll play it again. It's hard to judge this right because he's got to just reach it, seems to me. He's definitely played this with more pace. But has he left the red to middle? Must be tight. We got a glimpse of it. I think it will just sneak past, but not into a full pocket. I think the problem here is, of course, the cue ball's in the way a little bit, so he can't quite see the line. I suppose you could have the cue ball cleaned, and then while the referee's cleaning it, he could look at see if the red goes. I think that will pot, you know. I do believe that, but he's not taking the risk on it.
Shaggy-Donk's made a century to lead 4-0, so very much on top against Darren Hill as they head off to the interval. Just one more needed to play either McGill or Wilson tomorrow.
Well, he's just got to find a way of going into the side of the bunch without leaving something. The Reds have not packed up tightly, which of course doesn't help him. Trying to just reach them. That's not as safe as it could have been. I'm not sure if he's left anything to left corner or if those two reds are just covering each other. Yeah, I don't think either pot. But there was a slightly weak shot from Kyren Wilson there in safety. I was hoping for a little nudge, but actually it's okay anyway, as long as he's not over the top of the yellow. I think he was hoping to just glance off the blue or pink there. It was a good pot. If you can get the centre ball striking on this, you can force it. I think he just about can. The yellow's not really in the way. I think he can pot that red to left corner off the edge of the bunch.
5. Six.
By reaching the quarterfinals here in Berlin, Wilson has actually
30.
ensured it's financially his most successful season. And when you consider last season, obviously he earned the $500,000 at the World Championship. It shows you how
14.
consistent he's been going deep in tournaments. We're at about 650,000 already.
21. 22. Pink ball.
Yeah, he'd be happy that he hasn't pushed that red beyond the middle because he would have deserved to be on something. I don't know if he could have put anything in the bunch. I think they're all covering each other. He's on that red up the table. Doesn't want to hit the yellow or pink, which is probably a natural off this shot, so he might have to just screw it. He's likely to go into one of those two balls unless he plays it with a little bit of backspin or something side. Played it well.
29.
Been unlucky not to be on the blue.
Thirty-two.
Pretty obvious to say this, isn't it? That it's a very important frame for Kyren Wilson, especially to get himself back into the match. And the break's been hard work so far, but he has kept it going in typical Kyren style, really. You know, he works hard at breaks like this. It doesn't look like there's many on, but he'll keep potting. Sometimes falling a little out of position, but he often recovers it. Well, I'm not sure he can quite recover this time because he's finished in the worst place here. I mean, that is the worst outcome imaginable from that. You play that probably 20 times. I doubt you'd ever finish where he has. Touching ball, he's got nothing to pot. At least touching ball gives him an out and safety. If nothing else, it's definitely a consolation, though.
Yeah. Kyren Wilson, 38.
Well, he fancied it, didn't he? He's played it beautifully. I think from a long way out, he had a feeling that that was going to do what it did. There was a few nods of approval from the audience there. They liked the shot.
Got a big whoop from somebody, that shot did. Yeah, I mean, the crowd here, you know, They like all facets of the game, of course, the big breaks, but I think there's a real fascination in the tactical side, the skill involved in this game, whatever the shots that's being played.
Well, twice across, not easy. If that's the way he's going, if it is twice across. That is, goodness me. Trying to hit that red. It's going to need a bit of work. That, I mean, he wasn't a million miles away, but you know, that is a fiendishly difficult shot he's playing there. I don't even know how he thought of it. To go twice across and then try and hit that red. It's probably the fourth cushion he's trying to hit. And of course, if he hits it too hard, he might leave the red he's playing.
Foul, miss. Kyren Wilson.
I mean, you saw from the side view, he's still, what, 9 or 10 inches away from hitting this. And the points are mounting up here, and he could miss this 2 or 3 more times, actually.
Okay. Yeah, Kyren.
So, attempt 3, left-hand red, various cushions. Well, this is definitely closer. Well, Will Spence had to get in the way, of course, because he's got to see the shot, but we missed out on it as well, unfortunately. It was a great escape. There we go. He made good contact there. He almost overcompensated, missed it on the top side, actually. Well, he tried to put him in even more trouble there, but he has not got the snooker. I think he actually played to pot that. I saw him looking at the line of sort of squeezing that red in off the other ball. But of course, he played it with left-hand check side to miss the 2 reds across the way. And, well, you know, this frame is not... He looks like he's going to win the frame, but he hasn't won it yet. And there's lots of points left. And the balls aren't that badly placed, so... You know, he's by no means over the line yet.
Yeah, and it's just a slight feeling that things are just going against him. I mean, it was earlier on when he didn't get on a red, now he's gone in off. Got to try and keep those thoughts at bay.
It was certainly worth a punt, wasn't it? Getting that in, and getting right back into the frame. But what has he left is the question. I don't think there's anything on. This frame's turned into a bit of an epic now, because you go back to the beginning of it when Kyren played to roll up to a red, and McGill, he wasn't sure whether he could pot a red to right middle. He ended up not taking it on, and he took on a fairly defensive shot, which has meant it's been pretty tactical, this one.
Again, Wilson just keeping discipline. He could easily have been left a red there, 38 in front. He'd have fancied him to win the frame. He wasn't.
Well, take your pick here. It's either pot the red or almost an absolute cast iron snooker if he wants to play it. Yeah, unmissable, and certainly that doesn't apply to the next shot. Unmissable, very awkward one to hit, buried in behind the blue.
Just to say, they have resumed on table 2. Zhao Guodong 4-0 up on Aaron Hill. And you can see there, he is at the table early on in the next frame. 24-0, 24-6 in front.
Well, I think red to middle is on. And the one there, sort of at close quarters, that red that he's very close to into the left corner, that seems to me that would be a tough one, because you'd be worried about playing the push shot. He looked at it, and I can understand why he wouldn't fancy it. So it's probably going to have to be red to middle. He's got to be careful here. As I say, you feel like he might win the frame, but by no means has he done so. Still got to work hard because this black from the side cushion, missable shot.
Eight. Nine. Sixteen. Seventeen.
Hit that pretty well, and he's got a very slight angle, I think, not a huge angle. But he's got to land in behind a red. Just a bit of pace on this cue ball here. Pink won't go on its own spot. Highest available is blue. So the lead is building. One more red needed.
$24.
So important to close the gap after the interval, and these two are going to have the Tempodrom to themselves, it would seem, for the rest of the afternoon, because Xiao Guodong just finishing off against Aaron Hill. It's going to be 5-0 over there. But still potentially a lot of mileage in this one. McGill knows as much as anybody that Wilson does not lack for resilience and determination. Things have gone against him, but he stuck to his task.
Yeah, I mean, he's already shown it this week, hasn't he, in matches when he's been a little bit behind or not playing at his absolute best. He's found a way of winning them. He certainly loves playing here in Berlin.
$54. 55. $62.
It's already his 52nd quarter-final in a ranking event, looking for a 30th semi-final appearance. And he's very much in touch here, winning the first frame back from the interval, dominating it really. So still potential for 4 more frames. McGill's lead is reduced to 3-2. So Kyren Wilson and Anthony McGill have the Tempodrom all to themselves now, and it is an interesting point in this match. 3-2 to McGill. He was 3-1. Wilson dominating that previous frame, frame 5. McGill hasn't beaten him since the final of the Indian Open in 2016. 4 victories for Wilson since then, including 2 this season in the home nations, the English Open and the Northern Ireland Open. That was the sickener for McGill because he played so well. He had 2 centuries. He was only a best of 7, but lost 4-3. So he's played well already this season against Wilson and not got the result. Well, it's a great pot from every angle, isn't it? First shot of the frame. And the cue ball did hold up for the next red, which, sorry, for the next colour, which means this is a scoring chance immediately.
4. Five.
Yes, this is what he needed early in this frame, wasn't it, to try and restore that couple of frames lead as the inches closer to 5.
Hello. Cheers. 12.
I think he's just checking to see if the left red was able to go. Yeah, well, goodness, that's tight, isn't it? Is it? I mean, it may just go, but it's literally a ball's width, so if you can play the other one, it's better. But trace the right-hand side, I think, to straighten the angle. Don't think it goes plain ball.
20.
Obviously, he can get a lead of some kind, but it's all going to hinge on whether he can get the reds open to continue the break in a couple of shots. That's where the frame will be possibly won, not necessarily lost. So he seems to favour going up the table.
27.
And he could hold for the black, but chances he'll play up on the blue top side.
28.
And in fact, gone a little too far there. He had a difficulty with a shot of this kind earlier in the match, where he didn't pot it to the opposite middle pocket. But he's going to have to just go for this here. Pot the blue, open the reds. Big shot. Yeah, I don't think he likes those sort of thinnish cutbacks, and that could be
28.
a significant miss because he could have won the frame there. Just the odd shot, isn't it, with McGill that goes wrong when you don't expect it now.
What? 5. 6.
It's okay as long as he's on that left-hand red, and I think he is. He had the kind of insurance of being on the red up the table, but he nearly got stuck into the bunch of reds.
You're wondering why you can hear balls being potted. The practice tables are very close to the arena, so it's obviously players practicing for this evening. All the tension now on these two. Can Wilson punish that missed blue? Well, now all the reds are very much potable.
25.
Yeah, I mean, it did feel like a big shot. I think he knew it at the time, McGill. I mean, he played the red, the shot before, and he just got a fraction too far to make it a comfortable shot blue and then into the reds. There's a kind of an angle on that shot which is absolutely perfect to open them, but that is another time when Kyren's cue balls let him down. That was a shot which looked significant, but now the most recent shot was not that well played. It's given McGill some more hope, because this is now awkward again. That was very cool. It was not particularly nice cueing from there. Well, it would come as a surprise if he were not to get the frame one at this visit now, where the balls are. He's done all the work.
39.
Yeah, McGill not one to sort of show emotion, but he must be concerned. There were a couple of misses from him earlier on that weren't significant. But of course, the third frame, he was punished for a misread, and now
46.
I'm sure expecting this frame to have gone as well.
47.
Wilson does seem to come alive in these sort of situations, like so many great players.
Kyren Wilson, 47.
Yeah, I mean, he maybe wasn't on this ideally, but even so, you fancied him for it.
Yep, I think that's right, Dave. He was not on it perfectly. I mean, he knew that he would very likely block the pocket. He'd have to play it atrociously not to.
he does show a bit of emotion. He's really frustrated by that, really furious that he didn't take the frame out there. He may still win it, but he's annoyed for now.
This one. Yes, okay, yeah, thank you.
That's worked out fine, isn't it? It was a good shot. I mean, he could easily have hit the pink actually on the way down, but he still played it well. It's black over the pocket, you know, in the state of the match. You know, the two reds could end up down that left side. It's not impossible. Both players will be looking to be somewhat cautious. McGill just looking to see if there's any possibility of something going past that black. I think they might, but certainly not from where the balls are currently. So this is the point. It could end up the reds in front of the black. It's not going to happen now. It's thunderous double.
Well, we saw how frustrated he was when he missed the black initially. He took it out on that penultimate red, the way he doubled it.
There's just one more piece of the jigsaw, though, isn't there? I mean, you know, this is... You know, it's missable.
So, 28 the difference, 27 on.
I think McGill, there's an argument to say he could easily have won 5 out of these 6 frames. I know it doesn't matter what you should do, it's what you do, but somewhere in the back of his mind, he's outmanoeuvred Kyren Wilson for long parts, but the score is likely to be 3-all.
Yeah, he certainly had the chances, hasn't he? And that'll be, I guess, the frustrating thing. He needs a snooker, he's in one. Just flick the yellow.
one snooker, so it's worth fighting for, that is for sure. But you know, clearly the brown too close to the cushion, and ironically the other 4 balls too far away from a cushion. They're in the middle of the table, so not easy to get a good snooker. Not impossible, but not easy. So to make sure he doesn't play with topspin going off into the left corner here, Kyren. He's probably cued down on this. Well, I don't think the in-off is quite there, actually, looking at that angle. So now it's a couple of snookers. So the green will clinch the frame now. There'll probably be no playing on once this has gone in.
5.
Yeah, he's dug in, okay, didn't make the clearance initially, but it was a great double. And then, of course, McGill, after the next red went in, it needed a snooker. This cue ball's close.
9.
Don't breathe. That's what you do in a snooker club. Well, McGill outwardly took that well, but the fact is it's level. Kyren Wilson on the comeback. And a fascinating match. The crowd loving this. Possible 3 frames left. We're all square at 3-3.
Thank you. The 7th frame. Anthony McGill to break.
It's been a real good atmosphere in the Tempodrom today, and nobody is leaving yet because this is a very interesting match. McGill's made the running. He's had chances to certainly be in front, maybe through to the semis by now. But as it is, it's going to be a fight to the finish.
Yeah, I mean, right now, you feel that Kyren Wilson looks the stronger, but ultimately it is only 3 each. Doesn't mean he'll win. But he does feel as if he's more comfortable with the way the frames have gone. A couple of, he's one that he might have lost. Doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to go on and get the job done. It just feels like a little bit of occasional frailty in McGill, and it might be explaining why he's dropped down the rankings a little bit. Leaves that very straight. I mean, if you drop down the rankings, it's either because you're missing a few, or as a result of dropping down the rankings, you lose your confidence. Either way, you know, he's playing better this week, but occasionally just something goes wrong which you wouldn't expect. Any consolation there for McGill is he left this very straight. It's hard to pop this and get an angle. He's going to really try and force this. It's clever what he tried. He tried to wriggle the cue ball in the jaws out onto a colour, but he's still aggressively going to play the brown, I think, to middle. That's very good, isn't it? He's really trying to up the ante, I think, a bit here. Play big shots.
5.
Yeah, he's got a spring in his step now, hasn't he? Fancying the job. Sensing a bit of pressure has come to bear on McGill.
6.
It's a nice moment, actually, the end of the last frame between the pair. They haven't, as Neal said earlier, known each other a long, long time, right from the junior days, but now it's back to business. Yeah, this was cue ball hanging on the lip. McGill sort of pretended he was trying to knock it in by banging the table. All good bants. But this has gone wrong, meanwhile, positionally from Wilson.
Kyren Wilson, 13.
Once again, taking on this difficult red. Brilliant. Yeah, he's certainly trying to move his game forward in this match. Maybe he feels that even though he's 3-3, he's not satisfied with, you know, the kind of either the level he's playing at or maybe the positive intent he's been showing. Cue ball's got to go here, though. Is he on the red? The answer, I think we know without looking, based on that expression. Perhaps with a little trace of left-hand side, but I don't think it's a natural. Left-hand side would certainly straighten the potting angle, just putting the side on the ball. It's not nice, though. I think he's decided to play the double to right middle here. Well, if it goes in, it's no good anyway. Straight away you realise that. It's a really poor shot, in fact, because it has poor value. You know, not on a colour and left, I think, the red on. So that's a bit of a blunder. Well, he just got away with it, in fact. He was very concerned. He has not quite left the red. But that was by more luck than judgment.
Well, a little kiss. Cue was nestled to the green.
Yeah, I think he can get past it, but it's sometimes very difficult when the ball that you're closest to is the one that could be in the way.
Yeah, it's more the one on the right-hand side. He could have easily been able to cut that one in.
Yeah, it's made a difference, isn't it?
There's a real edge of tension on this now. Obviously, it's the only match on. That's one thing. Wilson has turned the screw. He's looked very determined coming back. McGill has had to sort of put to one side a couple of balls he's missed. He's not really been in the sort of thick of the action like this for a while. His last quarter-final was the Welsh Open last season. So that would have been nearly a year ago. Of course, the Welsh is coming around the corner again shortly.
Come out 2 minutes. That's quite a while, isn't it, to be on the one shot? But you can understand the problem he's got here. He's got not many balls he can hit, and of course he could easily leave that red to right corner. Plan to cover it up here. Goodness me! I don't know how he. With that right-hand side on, I'm not sure how he thought he could get the cue ball back through all the reds like they weren't there. But I stress he was in trouble, so he had to try something.
One.
He's let 1 or 2 chances go, Kyren, but this is an absolute gilt-edged chance to, for the first time, really start to press on. And he's been chasing this match. 3-1 down.
Six.
Goodness me, that was such a good chance, which he squandered. Didn't have to play this red. I mean, there was a red to the right corner, 1 to the right middle, which he didn't really entertain.
Well, it felt like McGill was kind of there for the taking, but this is a chance that's come along, and let's see how he does. Wilson was looking by far the stronger, but he's missed that red, and as I say, it's just given McGill an opportunity maybe just to pot a few here and get back into this match. Of course, it's level at 3-3, but he's lost the last 2.
I think the tension has ramped up, though, isn't it? We saw that even from Kyren's last visit, because, I mean, it's hard to think how you could get a better chance. I know the black's not on, but, you know, he missed very quickly there.
Yeah, it's a very different venue, but it sort of feels like when the wall goes up at the Crucible. You know, you're not hearing all the noise from next door. Suddenly all eyes are on you, and there's a lot of eyes in this room. It's a massive arena. It'd be different maybe if it had been like that from the start, but of course there was another match on. Just reminding these two of the stakes. This was the red that Wilson missed.
It was, and it wasn't a guarantee that he would play that red, you know. There were other options there. That's the red he chose.
Foulds. 19. $20. 26. 27.
A bit congested on that right side, isn't it? But you know, there are ways of picking off with these reds, I think. I mean, he had the perfect angle to go into them, but I can understand why he didn't want to, because you had the suspicion that they wouldn't break very favourably, whereas this, a surefire way of getting a couple more reds and colours, I think, building up a lead, might yet get more difficult, but for now, that's what he can do.
$34.
Very attentive crowd, isn't it? This one table in the matches, they know that the match is at a very tense stage, because we're not at the decider yet, but it's still tense. Well, it was a good shot, but you might have landed a bit more favourably. That there could be a red on.
Foulds.
Up the table, he's got this one, which is a tricky little cut. Yes, he's going to play this red, and it's always awkward. You can't quite see the pocket in your eye line on these because it's queuing down, and all you can see is the cushion rail.
41.
Played it well.
Well, no one here knowing how this is going to pan out, but it's looking better at the moment for McGill fans than it was about 10 minutes ago. The body language was great from Wilson, wasn't it? But the fact is he missed that red. Yeah, there it is again.
$50.
Of course, the red by the black might be significant. And he could take 2 red colours, high value, and not need that red. But that's not easy from here.
51.
Played a good cannon. I think it's okay, you know, because he can run the blue through and beyond that red, albeit at a fairly acute angle. So that could have been worse. He can be right behind the red, and I think he'd need to be because it is quite sharp angle he's playing from. It's been a very good break. I mean, the chance did come, but he has negotiated it pretty well, and with a lead of 31 points, red-blue means there's a snooker required. Kyren looked like he was going to strike the front in this match, in this frame.
57.
Yeah, this has been a terrific break because, you know, McGill was under it big time, having lost the last 2. A couple of errors from him contributing, but he's shown his mettle here.
Yeah, I should think it was just snooker Kyren here because it is only one snooker that Kyren Wilson requires. So he doesn't want to do anything silly, just snooker him.
Anthony McGill, 62.
Well, it's certainly a snooker. So 37 in front, 35 on, but Wilson snookered. Looking good for a 4-3 lead. Especially now.
Anthony McGill, 4.
So the balance of power seems to have shifted back to Anthony McGill. Remember, he's not beaten Kyren Wilson since he did so in the Indian Open final 9 years ago now. There's definitely a scope for snooker here. It's just whether it'll be a difficult enough one.
No, definitely. It's worth playing on here because, you know, difficult enough snooker could be a free ball and all of that. So, yeah, I mean, one very good shot could lead to the frame being stolen still.
Well, we know with these two in a frame of snooker, anything can happen because it did basically at the Crucible.
I think was it an hour-long frame, that decider? Something like that. Very long frame, and where I seem to remember there was one part of it, one sort of chapter in the frame, where the red went over the right middle, and it was the last red, and both players were going up and down trying to pot it. Cuba was at this end, trying to pot it off the bolt cushion, and they kept missing it and wouldn't let their opponent go again because they were frightened they would pot it. So it just went on for a while. One of many things that happened in that frame. Well, this looks as if he's kept the advantage even more by snookering in, and if Kyren were not to hit this, I suspect he would put his cue down and concede, and might even take a bathroom break because things are getting very tense.
Yeah, that's what he thought of that. So that missed red to middle, left middle from Wilson was a key moment. He was looking on top at that point. McGill made an excellent break, and it is Anthony McGill who's won from the semi-finals, leading in Berlin 4-3.
Thank you. The 8th frame. Kyren Wilson to break.
Yes, the 8th frame of a possible 9, and it is Anthony McGill back in front at 4-3. Wilson got onto level terms and was looking the stronger until he missed that red to middle. Can he force a decider? Of course, they had one in Belfast this season that he did win. The one at the Crucible we mentioned. In fact, they had one in the Shanghai Qualifiers 2015, which, of course, Wilson went on to win that tournament. And McGill beat him in a decider in the UK Championship back in 2013. So they've had some close matches, these two.
We've done no damage there. Of course, getting the match won is going to be another hurdle to overcome, if you like, I think, for McGill, given that it's been a while since he beat Wilson. You know, I think he's been the better player today, but he has made a couple of errors when he could have absolutely done without. I mean, really, in 7 frames, he could comfortably have won 6 of those on what we've seen. So that means it just might not be straightforward for him to just get that big break or that big shot to win the match. I feel there's a bit of snooker to be left played in this match yet. Well, it's a bit of a dangerous shot, isn't it? I mean, he's left the red on. I know it's not easy down there, but I can't imagine that Kyren Wilson is going to refuse this. I don't see where the cue ball could have gone other than roughly where it has. A bit of a nothing shot, wasn't it, that McGill played? Because he was always going to leave, you know, a possibility for Wilson.
Three. Four. Six. Seven.
Again, it's a question of how many he can make here. Obviously, we'll have to get some reds out, but I think he's got 3 reds that can be potted. One will unlock the other one.
15.
The red that he just slightly grazed into is the next red, and that takes the left-hand red to be pottable into the right corner. But now finishing short on this red, the next shot could be big. He's going to definitely disturb reds now.
$23.
Got his back to the ball, Kyren Wilson. Sometimes seems when he plays his best snooker, when he's, you know, he's got no choice but to find something. He wants to finish on the red to the left of the black. I think he's perfectly behind it. That's a pretty good shot.
$29.
Well, he won't mind having found that gap, I'm sure, because he's on a red now.
36.
But it didn't seem to be a gap, first of all. I mean, it doesn't even appear to be a gap between those reds. How it went through there, we'll never know.
No, it wasn't the cleanest, that, was it? But anyway, it's in.
Yes, I'm wondering, Dave, if he takes the pink, whether it will re-spot, which, of course, he might take the pink because he thinks he can land on one of the reds in amongst that little group of, what is it, 7. But I think if the pink is potted, it re-spots and just blocks them all off. Otherwise, I'm sure he would take it if he could. Well, he's decided that the double is the only way to go here to keep this break alive.
43.
So he might fancy keeping that red safe, actually. But if it goes in, it's safe, that's for sure. No problem.
44.
Didn't play it with so much conviction, though, did he, to finish right behind the black. He's getting quite sort of pumped up for this match, isn't he? And who can blame him? Might be time to play safe and put a low-value colour onto a cushion. Brown to the right side cushion, I think.
Kyren Wilson, 44.
Well, it's a useful 44, but plenty still there. This, we're not in a decider yet, by any means.
Well, that's gone wrong, but I'm not sure that red to the right of the blue is particularly easy. I mean, it'd be a really thin cut to the middle. I'm not even sure if that's on, but down the bottom, sort of shot you wouldn't mind playing if he's 40 odd behind and take a gamble, but I'm not sure he wants to take a risk here because, of course, he is basically one shot away from losing the match. If it goes wrong, leaves a chance for a McGill counter-attack, get the frame and match one. So he's got to be mindful of that. He's playing the other red, the one the furthest down the table. It's not a bad little flick because it stops the cue ball heading onto the baulk cushion. And so there's more aggression in this game, and you know, if it does go all the way, it should be a very interesting decider, with Wilson certainly trying to sort of play the aggressive role against McGill.
Three. Four.
And that shot should take us to a decider. yes, he's got more to do, but it's not difficult from here. He's got a choice of a number of reds. This one, interesting choice, this one. It doesn't look like it goes. That's the only problem with it. The one to right middle certainly does, as you can see from that overhead. Don't believe it. I don't believe he's missed that. That's just like the one in the other middle. I mean, that could be his last shot. I know there's lots to do, but he's missed a few in the middle pockets today, hasn't he?
Yeah, and he's opened everything up for Anthony McGill. Wow, well, we were looking at the red to middle in the previous frame, but that one could be even more serious. It could, as you say, it could be the end for Wilson.
I know, I mean, it's so hard to say that when someone's 50-odd in front, isn't it? But look, just look where the balls are. Like, yes, yellow to green to brown, you know, it's basically the brown that's the problem. And that's the ball he put safe at the end of a previous break, Kyren, so that's helpful, but it's not impossible, is it, to get on?
Made 62 in the last frame when the chance came. I'm sure he was preparing himself there for the decider, but it was a very, very unexpected miss from Wilson.
Seven.
Well, Kyren Wilson missed it. A couple of reds to middle, one into the left and one into the right middle, almost the same way, just at the top jaw with a bit of pace on them. And really, they're sort of shots you hardly ever see him miss. First objective, of course, take this frame close. Take these reds that are remaining with high-value colours. Trying to work out what he'll need, but quite honestly, I think right now, concentrate on the balls in front of Anthony McGill. Not get too far ahead of yourself with this visit, because there will come a time when there's a bit of working out to do. But ultimately, he's going to need the lot anyway. There's nothing really much to think about, is there? 32 behind, there's no way he can do anything but end up needing all of the remaining balls.
.22.
What if he wants to play on the green here, just to put the green on its spot, which then you're thinking green to brown might be easier. Because, you know, if he leaves the green there, if he's clearing up, then the green from where it is to the brown is probably a more difficult shot. So I think playing on the green is what he's considering here. Kind of tidies up that little area when he does make his assault on potting the brown. Don't think the shot is to cannon the brown out. I think that's fraught with all kinds of dangers. Leave it there and make it the big shot of the day. Although that's not great, is it? There's the miss from Wilson. That last shot of McGill will slightly annoy him. He's not gone far enough, quite honestly, on this to make it comfortable. When the cue ball travels that far, it was a great effort, but you know, you can't expect to be right behind the next ball. And this is a fiendishly difficult shot now to pot this and get behind the brown. queuing down on the ball is just horrible. It might be that he has to try and knock the brown out here. I don't see which other way he can play it. Tried to land in behind it, but it just wasn't there to play that shot. He's back with some hope, Kyren Wilson. He's looked at the potting angle, but it is a really horribly thin and difficult angle to find. And of course, should he miss it, it probably doesn't come very far away from the pocket. But if it goes in, I suppose it's the big shot. It's going to play it. This is do or die for this frame anyway.
McGill.
Well, he missed it by far enough, crucially, for the brown not to be pottable. If he'd got closer to it, he would have left it right over the pocket.
Well, Wilson sort of raced to the table. He's not on the brown, but importantly, the match continues.
Well, it was a really weak shot from Wilson. He's incredibly lucky there. He did not play that.
It's sort of the snooker gods, though, isn't it? Maybe saying to McGill, you know, you had your chance. Just didn't land good on the yellow. Then it's the tough green to get position on the brown, which he's missed, and now he's in a snooker.
Yeah, I mean, he did everything right, didn't he? Until the point, as you say, where he never landed perfectly on the yellow. And then it began to unravel, that break. Well, he needs some help here. Well, he kind of has got it, but, I mean, the ball's a bit further to the right, and it's all kinds of trouble, but he can see the brown.
I'm getting flashbacks to 5 years ago. Difference there was no audience, of course, in the Crucible. The crowd here at the Tempodrom on the edge of their seats. Yeah, this is a bit of a thriller, and there could yet be another twist in the tail if we go into a decider.
You know, I think he's looking at the potting angle here, you know, and he only wants one ball. Again, had he got closer to it, he might have left the brown on. Well, is he going to play this double? It was a strange old shot there from McGill. This double is extremely gettable. And he has got it, so I'm not sure what McGill was doing there, but I think we are going to go all the way, barring one snooker, which, I mean, 4 each seemed on the cards a long way out, didn't it? Maybe not at the mid-session, but just the way things have gone since then, it feels tense. And the decider might be a tense one as well. These two have got a history.
Well, you just seem to always get your money's worth with these two. As you say, I mean, even in Belfast this season, it went the distance. McGill had 2 centuries, still was on the wrong side of it. So if Wilson can put this blue away, definitely 4-4. He was sat in his seat after missing the red to middle, fearing the worst for sure. But it's not over yet. Great match this, and we're going into a deciding frame. So a very dramatic 8th frame finally does go to Kyren Wilson. Yet again, he and Anthony McGill are heading into a deciding frame finish. Wonderful respect here for both players. The crowd settling down to see who's going to take on Jia Guodong in the semi-finals.
Okay, Anthony, whenever you're ready. Sorry.
Yeah, he's just saying, yeah, we're supposed to shake hands before the decider. Kyren was, I think, just getting ready there in his chair. So here we go.
Yeah, it's hard to know what happens, isn't it, in this match, really, the way it's gone. You know, long parts of it, McGill has looked like he's been slightly the stronger. With Wilson, you know that he won't give up, though. Yeah, got a real determined streak. But he's given early in. This is a long way from cue ball to object ball here, but I mean, if you could just roll this in on the black, which is not an easy shot to play at that distance, you know, it is a really good early chance. He's just trying to sort of, if you could see that, run his hand down the line of the shot, because if he hit a finger mark, it could drift off, but if you could just drop this in, it would be a great opportunity. Must hold for the black. And that is the problem with that shot, because you're playing it slowly and you can lose your accuracy. With more pace, I don't think he'd have missed it, but he wouldn't have been on a colour. There's quite a serious blow there.
One.
It looks easy, doesn't it? But it isn't, trust me. Just a hold for the next ball. That's neither one thing nor the other. He's got another red to middle, and we've seen him miss a couple of very important balls to middle. He's going to play it, but he must be a bit concerned about it, I have to say, after what's happened previously. This is a horrible shot. Well, that's as good as it gets, I think, from there.
The last deciding frame in a ranking event Kyren Wilson lost was the man he would play in the semis, Zhang Guodong, out in Wuhan. That was a strange old match where he was fully in control early on. In this one, of course, he was trailing all the way, but he's on level terms and has the first good chance in the decider.
There must be a red that goes. This was a good shot, wasn't it? I mean, it was just horrible, and he'd missed a couple of bad balls to the middle pockets that were easier than that one. Yeah, the middle red went. What a chance he's given himself here. And it came about because of a mistake he made to leave a red on, which was missed, of course, by McGill. And that is a gem of a cannon.
22. 23.
Well, McGill will be watchful because there's been several unexpected misses in this match for both players.
He's
played so well in this tournament. It's been good to see McGill back in the big time, but are we going to see him in the last four?
Well, that's not perfectly played, to the point where actually the blue, he'd have played onto the right middle. He's not even on to the middle, it's to the corner pocket, so it was a misjudgment. I do wonder, could there be another twist?
36.
It wouldn't be a surprise, but something will have to happen here quite soon for that to be the case.
37.
And that was a nice shot, nice little stun run through, taking the cue ball lower. So he squared up to that red.
.43.
Well, now, didn't have to go into them there necessarily, but there's probably a gap through to the red, to the left of the pink. Here it is. Cue ball just slid off them more than he was thinking it might. So now there's a, you know, a decent queuing shot to be played here. That's not a certainty. Oh, yeah, very good. He looks really comfortable when the pressure comes on him. That's not to say, you know, he can't miss one still, but he's not shying away from it, put it that way, whatever happens from here. Could be a rest shot, yeah. And he's very good with the rest, as we all know, but doesn't make this shot easier. It's still a difficult shot to pot, whoever you are. I mean, it's delightful striking with the rest, that is.
55.
Well, he's getting closer. He's only actually had, before this, 2 half-centuries in the whole match. It's been not a heavy scoring match from him, but he might have saved his best for last here.
Yes, Dave, the middle red goes, and this is definitely his best
57.
of the game, isn't it? You know, he looked a little bit shaky early. He stole a frame. He could have easily been 4-0 down. But the longer it's gone and the closer it's got, the more he's been sort of able to step up, I think.
Yes, not much more to do to put himself into the semi-finals. Of course, he won the title in 2019. He was in the semis last year.
Yeah, that's not a great shot. You know, the next red, well, certainly if he plays the pink, that's a more difficult shot than it might have been. Pressure on this. But he seems to have the answers, doesn't he? And there's one more big shot required.
Yeah, it's been a really gripping contest, as it always seems to be between these two. And this, for Kyren Wilson, is match ball. Once again, when it matters, Kyren Wilson showing great self-belief, determination, resilience to get the job done. Anthony McGill is going to be disappointed, I think, because he did have chances, particularly, of course, in the last frame when he had the chance to clear up for 5-3. It's been a good week, but it could have been even better.
72.
But there's just such a steal to Kyren Wilson this year. Loving life as world champion. Disappointed to miss that one. But 72 in front with 59 on. He's surely the winner. Doesn't want the 2 reds in, that's no good to him.
No, basically that's end of match, I think, now.
It was another thrilling contest between Kyren Wilson and Anthony McGill, and once again it has been won by Kyren Wilson. He was chasing the game all afternoon. He never lost belief. The world champion salutes the Tempodrom audience. It's disappointment for McGill. It's Kyren Wilson who reaches the semi-finals. He'll take on Zhao Guodong on Saturday. He's the winner, 5 frames to 4.